Okay, people, I was up getting ready for work this morning, and the heater fan kicked on, and this dawned upon me here that the heater fan is a squirrel cage fan. And what does a squirrel cage fan do? It evacuates all of the air from around its surface as it spins. All the air is blown away. It actually creates a vacuum at its surface because it's blowing all of the air at its surface, is catching on these veins and being thrown away from the surface of the squirrel fan, the squirrel cage fan. And then it gets deeper here, because what do we have here? We have the spinning ball Earth with its mountains acting as veins on a squirrel cage fan. So what's going to happen when you spin that ball? All the air on the immediate surface right here is going to be blown out. All on the back sides of these mountains are going to be vacuum. You get it yet? I feel sorry for you buffoons who are stuck on that spinning ball, because it's got you dizzy and all your oxygen's been blown away from the spinning ball. You really need to rethink what you're being told. It doesn't take anything more than a little bit of common sense, critical thinking, and practical. This analogy of a squirrel cage fan and a spinning ball Earth is a perfect example of how the bullshit don't add up at all. What they say and what we experience, and we can repeat, experiment with. See, if you get you a sphere and you put these veins on it and you spin it around at 1,500 feet per second, no matter how big or how small it is, at 1,500 feet per second, it's going to blow all of the air away from its immediate surface. The exact same thing that the Earth would do. There would be no atmosphere at all. You can't say gravity. You can't prove gravity. Gravity is a theory. And until you can show gravity or prove gravity, show its actual source, show that it can actually be measured, every force within this realm, be it electrical, magnetic, hydraulic, all forces, there is a recognizable source and there is a mechanical means to measure it, except for gravity. That superficial force, there's no source and there's no mechanical means to measure it. And the same thing holds true with the motion. For every motion on this Earth, there's a mechanical means to measure the motion, except the four supposed motions of the Earth. There's no mechanical means to measure, and you don't get it. You guys need to quit buying the BS that's being shoved down your throat and buy a brain and start doing a little bit of critical thinking, analyzing the world around you, figuring out for yourself the way it is. You don't need anybody to tell you the way it is. You can observe for yourself. Anyway, I've never heard anyone else use that analogy and experiment, and it's an experiment that can be done. I don't have to do the experiment. I can see by my common sense and reason an understanding of reality, what's going to happen when I spin a squirrel cage fan, which the Earth would be with its mountains. It'd be a giant squirrel cage fan. And when you spin a squirrel cage fan, it blows the gases away from it, no matter what the gas is. It creates a movement and blows everything away from it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's plain and simple common sense, people. Every one of my flat earth videos are common sense. Just the retarded third grader could understand. No pun intended towards a retarded third grader. That's another analogy that I do like to use. Keeping it simple so that anybody can understand it. And that's the best way to do it. Nothing's complex unless you make it that way. Anyway, there's another flat earth proof that the squirrel fan blows the atmosphere away. And if gravity was a fact and holding the atmosphere down, the squirrel fan also defies gravity because it's blowing the atmosphere away anyway. See? So your gravity don't hold a stick. It's a theory to support the spinning ball. Just like the Coriolis effect. It's only there to support the spinning ball. So until you can actually prove gravity exists by a measurable means, and you can produce some curvature, measurable, and you can produce a mechanical means of measuring the supposed motion, there's only one true conclusion to be made. And I'll let you do that yourself. If you can't see reality when it's in your face every day, you really have problems on thinking. Anyway, tell me what you think about that squirrel cage fan, because I guarantee it'll definitely blow the atmosphere away from the Earth if the Earth were spinning at 1,500 feet per second, 1,024 miles an hour at the equator. It would literally blow the atmosphere away. A squirrel fan can work in my motel room here and blow the atmosphere. You ain't gonna tell me the mountains wouldn't react the same way as a squirrel fan does and evacuate the gases from its surface. It's plain and simple. That's real science, people. Observable, repeatable, and it works. It just shows the deception that you all accept. I ain't here to try to change your mind. I'm here to prove that the solar system in itself does not work and will not work. And if you think there would be an atmosphere on Earth spinning as a squirrel cage fan, then you really don't know how to think at all. You really don't. And there's probably no help for you. But I'm not going to get into that with you. So just go ahead and leave a comment. Thanks for stopping in. Tell me what you think. You have a wonderful time, day, journey on this existence. We'll see you later. Peace out.